I now have the pleasure of introducing another customer, Rachid Laghzaouni from Saint-Gobain Distribution, based out of Europe. Rachid, thank you for joining us on tour.
Thank you, Robert. It's a pleasure.
We would love to learn a little bit more about Saint-Gobain Distribution, your company. So could you just tell us a little bit about this organization? It has an incredible history.
Yes, indeed, Robert. In 2015, we celebrated our 350th birthday, which means that we are probably older than many countries in the world. So it started with Louis XIV, the king, and his Ministry of Finance, Colbert, started exactly for the manufacture of mirrors. And even at that time, it started to, the main objective is to be independent from Venetian glass production.
Tell us about, in this epic company and organization, it's quite large, right? And you have a very important role. So maybe tell us a little bit about the size of the organization and then what your role is there.
Well, Saint-Gobain is a global company, and we have offices in about 70 countries. It has different branches like industry for production and distribution. I'm in the distribution sector, and especially within France, SGDBF for France. And my role in the company is I'm PMO Tools manager within the IT department.
Well, that's great. And we want to learn a lot more about your role and the impact that you've had there. And, I had the fortune to hear your story a little bit earlier, and you are a true champion inside your company, enabling hundreds, thousands of people to get their work done. And you led a major project and an initiative within Saint-Gobain, the distribution business unit. What was this initiative? Tell us a little bit about what you set out to achieve.
It's huge effort. Basically, we took advantage of the pandemic situation because the main trigger was cost. How can we reduce the costs? And we had Atlassian tools for the back office, like all the IT department, which means Jira, Tempo Timesheet, X-Ray, but just to deal with projects, project within the IT department. And the company had ServiceNow to use, as ITSM tool. And we had a major project going on that was, of course, using Jira in order to manage all developments, all testing, and to organize the whole rollout, because it's a massive project. And of course, once it started in production, they had to deal with ServiceNow as well. So we weren't in a very comfortable situation because we had to deal with two different systems. And it was quite, let's say, we can use the word painful.
So you had Jira software as an organization, and you were using another product for service management. You realized you wanted to bring more simplicity into your workflows. And so that was the start of Jira Service Management being introduced. Rachid, give me some examples of why that was important, because when we spoke earlier, you highlighted one of the powerful impacts of bringing your development team and your IT teams closer together. But walk us through maybe some of the benefits that you realized.
Honestly, there are various benefits. First of all, just in terms of costs, we reduced the cost by switching from ServiceNow to Jira Service Management by 70% for the first year, and started following the second. You know how it goes with you guys. The second year is 50% of the license, and then for the following years, it's going to be like 82.5% of cost. But this you can measure it just with, of course, license fees. What really was the big impact, and what is the big impact, is the production of everyone. because for this huge project rollout, we had to deal with, how can I say, using emails and phones, to log in Jira projects, issues related to the rollout. With Jira Service Management getting the game, I mean, everything started to flow because, as you know, Jira Service Management is based on the same technical architecture than Jira, of course. So you could link projects between them, you could use dashboards, etc. So you have really this high-level cockpit dealing with, how can I say, the rollout of the project. And this helped a lot. I have another example from the technical side, of course.
Sure.
Because in the IT department, we have, of course, the ops that are taking care. They're like the babysitters of our whole environments, especially production environments. So they have very, very high level, how can I say, of requirements. So basically, we set up with them some web services, automatic web services, and the issues are automatically logged within Jira Service Management. And with the time difference, our offshore teams, they could, handle and take care of these issues. So, and everything is going smoothly, I mean.
Rachid, we all know that these projects are always more successful when you have a great team working on them, led by a great leader. But you also had an important partner in the implementation process to help make all of this possible. Can you tell us a little bit about who that partner was and what role they played?
The partner is a Spectrum Group. We started with them since the beginning of our, use of Atlassian tools. We really started with 5 licenses on the cloud. At that time, paid on the credit card of my manager because we have small, needs, and Spectrum Group was the vendor. So since then, I mean, the whole scope grew up, and the partnership never ended because I do believe that to have a good partnership, you need, first of all, respect and then trust between each other.
Zooming out, thinking bigger picture, give us a little bit of a sense of what's on the roadmap for Saint-Gobain distribution as it relates to Jira Service Management. How is this going to continue to expand and evolve for your company, both in terms of the capabilities and also in terms of the number of users?
So basically, we are right now at a huge milestone. We migrated the whole IT department from ServiceNow to Jira Service Management. We are at halfway of clients, which means end users from ServiceNow. The target is by mid-November, the whole end user community will be in Jira Service Management. We started with what we have right now in ServiceNow, which means the incident and the standard change. Good news for you. This coming Friday, we're going to offer the first service catalog. My team going to offer the service catalog using Jira Service Management to whole IT department. And then we're going to help all team leaders to offer these services using Jira Service Management to their, how can I say, end users, because right now they're using only the standard change. It doesn't make sense. We are also ambitious to set up knowledge base and also problem solving and also normal change, which means that change that will need approval from the hierarchy. Honestly, this is very ambitious schedule. We finalized the whole IT department, few hundreds, within few weeks, right? Mm-hmm. And right now we are rolling out our end users, which means client regarding service management. And here we're talking about 20,000. The target is 20,000 clients. Most of them are permanent employees for SGBF. But honestly, the most, how can I say, most significant success for us is the customer satisfaction. This is our DNA for Saint-Gobain. We're dealing with customers like many global companies. So in the IT department, honestly, they are pretty happy with the tool, very happy. And the end users also, we didn't even need to train them. Most of the team leaders took, this under their umbrella and they said, hey, come on, we can handle this, whatever happening on the portal side. And moreover, I didn't talk about this. I talked about license fees only. The productivity is honestly very significant because, we had ServiceNow from one end, we had Jira on the other. They didn't flow together. I mean, you had to do double sometimes the processes. But now that everything is integrated, this, we can't measure it right now, but we're going to have, probably in the next few months, really the productivity with the KPIs, etc. We can really measure this.
Well, I love that. The idea that you went from a couple of hundred users and agents to now scaling to 20,000 end users is just incredible. And I love your last point that bringing these teams together has led to much higher productivity and less inefficiency. We like to call that high velocity. It sounds like you're a perfect example of that actually happening in a live environment. So really happy to hear about the success that you've had. Rachid, we're going to wrap it here. That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing the story of how Jira Service Management has helped make Saint-Gobain even more successful than it already was using Jira Service Management.
Thank you very much for having me for this event.